Uh, 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 okay. Oh, man. Hmm. What's that? Another side quest? Random side quest just opening up?
Nope. Lovely. Don't worry, there are no wrong choices here.
Ready for some action? Easier than eating apples. For a limited time only, I'm slashing all my prices in half.
Spruce up your home with some new color.
Thank you so much.
Hey there.
Come on.
Mission complete!
Let's see.
Nice.
Not bad. Okie dokie.
Right then.
Hello.
Right, let us continue. Okay, yeah, no.
Hans took me to Grossgard. As an artist's soul is mirrored in their brushstrokes, so too is a lord's character reflected in the state of their dominion. Everywhere, you could see Ludwin's gentle touch. From the full fields, to the content faces of the farmers, to the laughter of children and adults alike that filled the air.
What do you think of our humble land?
I tore my eyes away from the bright orchards and turned to Hans. It's beautiful. It may not be large or bustling, but I've never been to such a peaceful dukedom.
I'm sure his lordship will be pleased to hear that assessment.
Suddenly, I found myself curious. Earlier, you said that the ancestral trials would teach Ludwin how to rule. But judging from what I've seen here, he is already a capable lord. What more would you like him to learn? Hans smiled tenderly, as a grandfather might when speaking of a beloved grandchild.
I should have known an avid scholar like yourself would read between the lines. Make no mistake, Ludwin is not a perfect leader yet, but it is not my place to discuss his flaws.
Then tell me this. Are his flaws related to his family's inability to fight?
Let us call it a starting thread, but the full tapestry is so much more.
I decided not to pry. I already had the information I needed to guide Ludwin through his trial.
Sir Lancelot? I don't remember sending for you.
Of course, the Lord was surprised to see me. Although friendly, I was a rogue element in a world where this man had control of nearly everything. I have come at the request of Hans. He would like me to assist you in deciphering the tome.
I see. Hans does have a knack for meddling in his lord's affairs, but I welcome you all the same because, to tell the truth, I'm getting absolutely nowhere.
I smiled, despite myself. It was nice to meet a noble who wasn't spilling over with pride. Hans beckoned me to his desk, and I leaned over the old tome.
What do you make of it? This must be child's play for a famed warrior scholar.
He looked at me with expectant eyes. I'm sorry, but I can't decipher this. We will need to enlist the help of an expert. Expectation turned to astonishment.
Lancelot, though you fight like a storm, your mind is as clear as the stillest of ponds. I can't believe you'd need to ask for assistance.
Can't you? Every second I spend on the battlefield is a second away from the library. Ludwin hesitated a while longer, but when I strode to the door and held it open for him, he sighed and relented. No one in either of our circles was well versed in ciphers, but that was a matter of small concern. I knew an information broker. Zothba put me in touch with a language scholar who delivered a key to us within a fortnight.
Well, I'll be. The clue was in the names of my ancestors.
Ludwin stood up behind his desk and stretched, and the lines of care and worry melted from his face. He must have had many sleepless nights poring over the withered pages of the tome alone.
Thank you, Sir Lancelot. I can finally read the damn thing. It's only a matter of time now until I find the sword.
It was my pleasure. I look forward to news of your success. But I already knew. Before the unearthing of the blade, Hans would come to visit me one last time. I was half right. It was not Hans, but Ludwin himself who showed up at our doorstep.
I deciphered the record, and I know where the sword is buried.
He was so excited he completely forwent pleasantries.
I know I should go alone, with Hans of course, but the tome says we must fly to Skyworm Valley, which is riddled with monsters. It's a terrible place for a lord to be made into dragon kibble.
I knew what he wanted me to say. Very well.
Allons-y.
Please, allow me to accompany you.
Really? Wonderful! I mean, only if you wish.
This must have been the flaw Hans was alluding to. Ludwin was afraid of his own power. He dreaded the responsibilities that came with leadership. The lords of Grossgard were not warriors and hadn't been for generations. They depended on their subjects for protection, but as I'd learned, Ludwin was loath to do so. Up until now, this has not posed a problem. Small skirmishes were all that troubled the peace of his dukedom. But what would happen should a great war march on his borders? Would his honor eventually spur him to the front lines? To death? The place of a lord and general is with the rear guard. There, they must order the battle and conduct diplomatic affairs. But it is hard, sitting and conversing in safety while your soldiers are risking their lives. As captain of the White Dragons, I knew this better than anyone. You feel as if every death is on your head. At last, I had come to fully understand Ludwin. If these trials, as Hans said, could help him come into his own, then I would do everything in my power to guide him to victory.
Oh man. What? Okay. Even having. Spoilers. Reset. Weißen Flügen. Okay, yeah.
The day arrived. Ludwin, Hans, myself, and a few more compatriots met outside of Skyworm Valley.
Lancelot, thank you for coming, but I wasn't aware there would be others with you. Who are these people?
He looked with wide eyes at the rest of the crew, whom he had never met before. I have heard terrible monsters lurk in these parts. Alone, I would not have been able to guarantee your safety. These are my crewmates, each one a warrior of great strength and honor.
Not that I don't appreciate their presence, but Sir Lancelot, surely a knight of your caliber could cut through these beasts with both hands tied behind your back.
Chance, my lord, is as unpredictable as the weather. A wise skyfarer prays for a gentle current, but prepares for a vicious storm. Ludwin nodded thoughtfully.
Very well. Best I leave the knighting to the knights.
Leave the knighting.
I'll clear a path. Stay close. Are you ready to begin the trial?
It's now or never.
This is what I've seen in the trailers on this mission.
Hey, look! The welcome squad!
Her attacks aren't working! Is this part of the trial?
Wait, I remember. The record said a single link does not a chain make.
So, fighting one at a time won't work? Let's hit it all at once.
Very well. On Lancelot's mark.
On me! I'll handle it.
Heck yeah!
Careful, it's working.
Very well. Very clever, Bane.
Siegfried called me clever.
Silence. If not for Lord Ludwin's counsel, you would have been lost.
You did it! You really did it!
Compared to us.
I only wish I'd have been of more use.
Don't worry about it. We've all got stuff we're good and bad at.
There is no shame in seeking help from others. It builds trust.
Yes, trust. That is all we ask from you, Lord Ludwin.
They're not even party members, they're guests.
Looks like we've reached the second trial. There are so many spirits around.
We best fight in formation. This may be similar to the previous trial.
Very well. Leave the vanguard to me.
We're gonna be so in sync.
Wait. I'm about to see 4 legendary knights in battle at once. Death keepers to behold. Try to keep up. Understood.
These flying attacks aren't working. We need to coordinate.
Come!
In position.
You've gotten better at reading the flow of battle.
I had a good mentor.
This is power! Relent! Into the fray! Bury that! Brace for impact!
You're in a class of your own.
I'd say you'll be keeping me company very soon.
By my blade! Strike at once!
Right. We make a good team.
You honor me.
You won't prevail.
After me!
Understood. Of course.
Does it for the second
Always
trial.
rely on this.
Too easy, Lancelot?
Not at all. We've only made smooth progress thanks to the team.
We fought alongside each other for years. This was nothing.
What is that thing? It's huge!
Jealousy is a dead soul given form by evil spirits.
The dead? I never signed up to fight the dead! Retreat! Everyone!
Remain calm. We can handle this.
Can't know that for sure! Stars above, and anything were to happen to you because of my weakness!
My Lord Ludwig, I ask that you listen to Lancelot. Place your trust in us.
My noble guy! We're a total dream team! A big butt quartet! We got this! Ready!
Very well. Lancelot believes in this team, and so shall I.
Well done!
My blade.
Who's ready?
Scattered like shadows at dawn!
I won't let you down. Honor will prevail. Victory.
Force the Vega! Bang! Yes, sir! For glory! Providence Flare! Powers combined. No force can stop us.
Stay vigilant.
Oh, I can't get up close and personal with him?
Don't mistake first.
I shall not falter. For form. Know your place.
Stand and face me. I can't wait to do that again.
I know.
Quite a
Fair point.
You won't prevail. This is power. Let's press our advantage.
Understood.
Stay focused. Parry this. The north now.
Let's do this.
Into the fray.
You aren't tired, are you? I thought you knew me better than that, Siegfried.
Stay focused. For form. Perfect. Just what I need. Once more. Stay
Lancelot, fall back!
blade.
Watch my back. Lay it on him!
They're finished.
Now then! Great teamwork!
There's what dangers lie ahead. We'll be ready. They're wide open.
Into the fray!
One last push.
Come on!
This ground shall be your pile! Return to the abyss!
Stay focused. I won't let you down. Right? Boodle! Bang!
Let's win this thing! Ruin Bane! Victory!
Verfine drop!
Only death
Don't try
away!
to keep up.
For glory! Providence Flare!
It was a sight to behold, was it?
You
What a
took down
character.
all those monsters. That was right.
Well, the chest awaits you, my lord. Open it and claim your prize.
Ah, yes, of course.
One blade for truth, one for honor. After numerous trials, we arrived at last in front of a lone treasure chest.
If it hadn't been for your help, Sir Lancelot, I wouldn't have made it this far. I fear I won't ever be able to repay this debt.
There is no debt between us. But do not trouble yourself about me. Look now to your prize. With trembling hands, Ludwin undid the clasps of the chest and lifted from it a sheathed sword.
The blade of my forebears. It's, lighter than I thought it would be.
Carefully, he drew forth the weapon.
What's the meaning of this? It's just a hilt!
Ludwin was the very picture of
Nani?
distress. But I saw through the riddle at once. A sword with no blade. A weapon that could neither defend nor slay. It was a message left by the first lords of Grossgard for their sideboards.
Theme is the message.
Gently, I cleared my throat. Perhaps, my lord, it was meant to be a hilt, and a hilt alone.
What? Why would my ancestors bequeath unto me a hunk of metal?
You will find the answer to this puzzle, as you have to all the others. Slowly, Ludwin's grip on the blade relaxed, and he began to turn it over in his hands.
Fine. I'll give it a bit more thought.
Sir Lancelot, do you really think his lordship will be able to figure it out?
On our way back, Hans fell in beside me to take whispered counsel. What does your heart tell you? You have been at his side all these years. Hans made no reply, but I saw the shadow pass from his face and a soft light come into his eyes.
Hello.
What?
The next morning, I paid a visit to the Defense Corps headquarters. I did not receive a cordial welcome.
You're that redhead. Why'd you come back here?
To supply you with counsel. Now hearken to me. The soldiers could only look on in wonder as I continued. Order is the basis of any kingdom, great or small. It is what establishes harmony in music and builds peace out of strife. You are its keepers and conductors. Take pride in your duty. To this, the soldiers could find no response. I went on. You told me you cannot fight because Roland is gone. You are mistaken. Comrades give you courage, but true strength must come from within. You cannot fight because you are weak. There followed a moment of silence. Then the Corps encircled me.
We didn't ask for your advice.
Grab him! Throw him out!
But I fixed them with a look. I have said nothing you did not already know. If you can see your faults, why not mend them? Begin by overseeing your daily tasks, for habit is the mother of success and failure.
That's it! You won't shut up? Then we'll make you!
I evaded the soldier's blow with a step. Raising my fist in the air, I said, "Wielding force to stifle dissent. Already you overstep your power. But I will not be silenced so easily." In one wave, the whole corps rushed upon me, but they were like water breaking upon rock. I showed them mercy. So when it was over, their pride smarted more than their flesh.
Who the hell are you?
Only a passing skyfarer. Tell me, Captain Douglas, are you ashamed you could not lead your forces to victory against one man?
Alright, Rubelux, if you're so smart, why don't you try being captain? See how hard it is to train a bunch of bumpkins!
There is no metal so firm it cannot be wrought. Very well then. Lend me your title, and I will show you how warriors are forged.
Huh?
And so I became the one-time captain of the Corps. Training began the following day. Arms maintenance, proper stance. They had no knowledge of even these rudimentary things. I was reminded of my days as a squire, when I was first initiated in the art of war. Of course, I was met with some resistance. There was talk of banishing me from Folka. Yet not a soldier abandoned their training. I saw that though they lacked discipline, their hearts were in the right place. As long as they loved their city, I would grant them the strength and knowledge to protect it. Often while they honed their bodies in the field, I gave speeches to reform them in spirit.
When you hear of trouble, act swiftly. But above all, seek to prevent. Every drop of blood is a loss. The wise win wars before the first blow is struck. Take censure, but reserve judgment. Focus on bettering yourself, for the only actions you can control are your own. Always be ready to defend your people. Though peace may reign within your borders, there is no telling what perils lurk without.
Within days, a new luster could be seen in the soldiers' eyes, and all talk of my banishment had faded.
I'll try hard, man.
The training of the Defense Corps proceeded smoothly.
Guess you know what you're doing. Alright, Rubelux. You can run this outfit a little longer.
Though they barked and whined, former Captain Douglas and his soldiers endured my training. The time had come for Folka to see them reborn. I proposed a patrol, the foremost duty of a guard, for evil, infirm of purpose, dares not stir beneath a watchful eye.
Huh?
That's a bad idea.
I looked sharply at Douglas, who paced back and forth. Why do you waver?
Why do you think? We've been losers our whole lives. We can't go out there now and dance around the place like we own it. They're gonna laugh at us.
As a soldier, you must not weigh pride against duty. Now, this is a direct order from your captain. Move out. All came to pass as Douglas feared. In the streets of the city, children pointed, men jeered, and women laughed. Behind me, I could feel the will of my band weakening.
Do not falter. Remember, shame should not hinder, but rather drive you to do good. The eye sees only the present, and the past is soon forgotten.
There was no more I could do for them. The Corps would have to reclaim their own honor. I led them on without another backward glance.
Hey, look! It's the March of the Freeloaders! Must be nice getting paid to take a little stroll!
These barbed words were slung at us before the tavern. The speaker was a red-faced man, no doubt set on by excessive wine. I slowed my pace. It was true that the Corps had brought this scorn upon their heads, yet what remedy could poisoned tongues offer? I never intended for them to be thus reviled. Turning, I walked up to the drunkard.
You got a problem, big guy?
The man shook in fear. But I did no more than bow to him. Forgive us. It is the part of a leader to bear the faults of his followers. For who will answer to a lord that will not answer for them? I am now the captain of the Corps, and speak on their behalf. We have failed you in the past. For that, we are sorry. But these soldiers are now changed. Give us time, and I swear on my honor we will set things right. Amazement flashed into the man's eyes, clearing the fog of drunkenness. Shamefaced, he hurried away.
I wanted to apologize, Captain Percival.
Douglas's voice sounded behind me.
It's our fault you had to grovel to a juice head like that.
Enough. I held up a hand. Power is ever conjoined with responsibility. I did no more than duty commanded. Now come. The day wears on. It is time for training. At the guardhouse, the men fell to their drills with vigor.
Put your back into your swings! Stand firm! You are the first defense of your people. Bear yourselves with pride! Yes, sir!
Their voices were clear, and their movements strong. Soon, I thought, they would be a match even for the forces of Avia.
This Fate episode is so... Percival is too serious. Why so serious?
My katana's all sharpened and ready.
Couldn't resist my help?
Bad news! Those Avia rats are back!
The day that would test the valor of the Corps came sooner than expected. I looked up at the soldier, who had burst breathless into the guardhouse.
Report. An armed group thought to be connected with Avia is occupying the mines of Tempio. They've taken the reconstruction workers captive, including several residents of Folca.
It would be a dangerous rescue for the Corps, who were yet untried in combat. But the soldiers quickly showed me they had not failed their training.
Captain Percival, let's fight back! We're ready! We can save those hostages!
No. I sensed something strange at work. It had been the aim of the ruined church to bolster their ranks with new converts from Folka. Why then would they occupy their minds and threaten their people? Surely it was not for ransom. The adherents of Avia held their faith high above the jewels of the earth. This had to be a trap. Of course, trap or no, the Corps could easily overthrow Avia, as long as I led them. But I could not stay in Folka forever. And so I said, do not let confidence consume your wisdom. Your duty is to protect your people, not to prove your strength. You do not know the designs of your enemy, nor whether your might can contend with theirs. You must call for aid. I saw that my warning had disheartened the soldiers. I could not blame them. They had struggled so far, only to learn that they still fell short. But glory must not be bought with blood. The lives of the islanders came first. Drawing myself up, I strove to lift their spirits. Your city needs you. There is much work to be done. Learn what you can from those that escaped the mines. Muster the defenses. Let your people know they are safe.
Yes, sir! But Captain Percival, the clock is ticking. What if the Skyfarers and reinforcements from Seed Hollow don't make it in time?
I could not hold back a smile. Do not worry. I know a crew of Skyfarers already at hand. First, to secure the hostages.
Wait! That hair! It's the route to head from Folka to arms, brethren!
Centuries. You will wish you never saw me.
Continue the assault!
Must be more of them.
Back to the boy! How'd you get in here? We're the lookout. Sleep on the job?
You'll never know!
Cut them down!
What fearsome comrades are. You said it.
I'll always be by your side.
Succumb to fear.
Hit them now!
Into the fray!
A fine display.
Too few of them. Their main force must be headed for Folka. Perhaps I should turn back. No. I must have faith in my comrades. All the hostages are behind bars. At least they will be kept safe from the battle.
Who are you?
You may know me as the Lord of Flames.
Are you here to save us? The man Mother Avalon warned us about! To the fire!
Shall we meet again?
Seek your doom, but unfortunately for you, this battle won't go like the last one.
Not many who survived my flames dare to face them again. You are either brave or a fool.
Swimming in the shallow. Out of my sight! Strike!
I can't believe it! They're winning 100-1! How? The stars forsaken us?
The stars do not decide our fate. We do. In turning to treachery and force, you built your own tomb.
Somebody please silence this man! You will burn! Seal their faces.
Impressive fire.
A lovely opening act to the fall of Folka. That's right! Sir Knight! You've got to go back to Volca!
Volca is in safe hands. All will be well.
On me!
By my blade of adamant bright, your fate is sealed!
Right.
Your turn!
Never you worry!
Shine as one! Prominent flare!
It will take more time to bind these Crusaders than it did to defeat them.
That's...
I bound the hands of the Crusaders and turned them captive toward Volca.
Why, here's a stalwart little interloper. You could do far better than skyfaring, you know.
Keep silent. I will not listen to the lies of a false prophet.
Then I guess you won't believe me when I say the mines were just a diversion. We sent our main force to Volca. They'll have captured the city by now. We'll raze it to the ground and build a new Church of Avia on the smoking ruins.
The preacher continued to lay bare his plot, though I had no desire to hear it.
I know this backcountry is filled with scurrying field mice. You skyfarers were the only real threat. If we could keep you busy elsewhere, say, in some nice, dusty mines, then taking Volca would be like stealing candy from a baby.
We
Even
have
now,
good
you
soldiers
know
back
not
in
what you
Volca.
speak. I had already made out that the mines were not your true purpose, and you misjudge the people of Volca. There is great strength in that city. It will not fall to the likes of you.
That's hogwash!
If you will not trust my words, then perhaps you will trust your eyes. We had come to the gate of Volca.
Captain Percival, we've captured all the invaders. You should have seen us, Captain. No one messes with us on our turf.
There, trussed up before the city walls, were the remaining Crusaders of Avia. The soldiers of the Corps stood over them, bloody but triumphant. And the air was bright and filled with rejoicing as the people of Volca cried glory unto their defenders.
Impossible. How could country mice have overthrown the high hawks of Avia?
With that, the preacher fell to his knees and spoke no more.
Sneeze. No! Got another quest? Yo, why are quests opening up?
Need something?
Cags. Oh, that's cute.
I opened my eyes and found the most entrancing face staring back at me. Clear skin, dewy eyes, and mischievous smile, all framed by soft golden locks. Involuntarily, my hand crept toward her cheek for a caress. But when flesh met mirror, I finally woke up and realized.
Yes. Good morning, me. Must still be hazy from exchanging bodies yesterday. Lacing my fingers together, I reached my arms up for a test stretch. Stiff. Not one to be bested by a vessel of my own design, I brought my palms together and began twisting. Take that, you stupid spine, I thought. You will rue the day you defied me. Just how many backbones and digits and faces had I conjured? I'd lived long enough to know it was foolish to try and keep track.
Cagliostro, did you hear? We're going to visit a new skydom!
Lyria's voice echoed from behind the door, snapping me back to the present.
Sounds fun! I'll be out in a jiffy!
My voice was a weaponized rainbow, strategically pitched to invoke thoughts of hugs and sunshine. As the cutest girl in all the skies, no other tone would live up to my utter perfection. You see, it's a common myth that cuteness is in the eye of the beholder. But actually, as I have witnessed through my research, it is a fundamental law of reality. I quickly brushed my disheveled hair, minus one lock, as per the theory of adorable bedhead optimization, and went to the door. The crew would need me at my cutest if they were to survive an untrodden skydom. About 2,000 years ago, before the war, I was a wretched, sickly little thing. We lived in a village with no doctor, so all I could do was wait for the release of death. I still remember the defeated look on my sister's face as she attended my bedside. I couldn't blame her. Not when she was surrounded by the other villagers and their whispers. None of them thought I was long for this world. But back in those days, the sky was full of children who would never live past adolescence. So my life was tragic, but common. With the exception, of course, of one detail. My intellect. I had been working on a theory of reality, one that would let me rewrite the laws of existence. I dubbed it alchemy. I was too weak to leave the house, but my sister would fetch me the necessary reagents for my experiments. At first, each failure was more spectacular than the last. Creating a fully functional body from nothing but dirt and speculation was complicated. Instead, I focused on creating an ageless vessel capable of housing a soul. Hypothesis, test, fail. Hypothesis, test, fail. My pile of discarded monstrosities grew with each unsuccessful trial. But finally, I succeeded in producing a small life form, no bigger than your average roach. Sure, a misplaced footstep would have killed the damn thing, but it was life nonetheless. And it was proof that I could achieve mastery over my own mortality. Now that I had more data, all it took was a few more months of testing, and voila! I had synthesized a flesh bag for myself. My soul was finally free to occupy a worthy form. Now, repeat this process a few thousand times, and my reputation spread throughout the skies, garnering love and admiration from the masses. Alchemy was at its apex, and death had been conquered for all. Yeah, right. More followers meant more opportunity for betrayal. Eventually, a faction of alchemists turned my own bloodline against me, and they managed to seal me away for centuries. Assholes.
The Brotherhood.
These magic prison stories always end the same way. A few hundred years of slumber, and people grow complacent. A group of clueless travelers, aka the crew of the Grand Cipher, managed to stumble upon my inert form and, foolishly mistaking me for a primal beast or something, lifted the seal. Immediately, I wanted to eradicate them. No one could find out I had regained my freedom. I would not suffer entombment again, even if it meant I needed to transmogrify a few Skyfarers. But then, I laid eyes upon Lyria and her blue hair, and there it was, an entity that I could not identify. I who had unveiled the very laws of reality could not classify her existence. She was surely from a different plane. My interest was piqued, and for that, I spared the crew. What can I say? Curiosity killed the alchemist. With no particular agenda for my newfound liberty, I offered my services to these skyfarers. They would give me unfettered access to the girl, and I would give them unrestricted access to my findings. And as a bonus, I might save their asses a few times along the way. Of course, the captain readily accepted.
She likes being asked.
Though I admit, there was something about the gleam in the captain's eye that caught my attention. What was so special, you ask?
That's for Cagliostro to know and for you to find out.
On a typical humdrum day, I was browsing Sierra Carte's wares for a few chemical essentials.
Cart.
Impressive how the world had become a network of convenience. What were previously rare and unobtainable items were now collecting dust on a tradewoman's shelves. My eyes traced the rows of flasks and potions before they settled on a vial clutched by the man standing next to me. Oh, toxin. An excellent choice. Save for the fact that his confused and brooding expression revealed he didn't quite understand what he was holding. Who was this moron? Well, now that I was aware of the potential hazard, I couldn't leave well enough alone. Traveling with the crew had certainly rubbed off on me.
Excuse me, mister. That looks scary. What you gonna do with it?
He looked stunned. An appropriate reaction, given my stunning countenance.
What? This? It's pigment. Needed for painting supplies.
Oh, I didn't take you for a painter, mister.
Pigments were frequently composed of toxic earth metals. Perhaps I worried over nothing.
It's not for me. My little sister's the artistic one.
Huh? His entire mood shifted, tense shoulders relaxing and lips curving into a soft grin. It was nothing like a few seconds ago, when he seemed to be studying the pigment like his life depended on it. Perhaps he was a few rupees short. No, mental calculus doesn't translate to confusion. His look was more concerned? No. I'd seen that exact expression before.
So what color picture will she paint? Cagliostro sure wants to see the final product. Aw, pretty please.
This is coming out of nowhere.
What the hell? Did I not give him the world's cutest plea? How dare he refuse me? He will suffer for...
But I guess it's okay. I actually have some free time now, if you're eager.
There. That was more like it. Lyria, the captain, and I followed the man to his studio, listening to him jabber about his life along the way. His name was Heimel, and he had been living alone with his sister, Shanae, ever since their parents died when they were younger. Their life was simple, he explained. But a simple life was a luxury for some.
Wait till you see! Shanae's paintings are breathtaking, and I'm not just saying that. The world needs her talent.
He was alight with passion. A stupid smile plastered across his face. True pride in his sister's craft. As for me, art was too abstract. How would one tame the subjective, bring order to chaos? There was too much I couldn't comprehend. But was it not aesthetics that led me to understand and codify the deep mysteries of cuteness? Yes. Perhaps there was something I could learn from a craft as humble as painting. And thus, with the future of alchemy on my dainty shoulders, I pushed open the door to the studio.
I was itching for some action.
I even said anything? Doesn't matter.
We entered to find Shanae violently tossing in bed. Heimel rushed over, grabbing a phial of healing tincture from her bedside. Hand supporting her shaking head, he poured the concoction into her mouth. Immediately, her convulsions lessened, but her breathing was still labored. It became clear why he was so antsy back at Sierra's store. Toxic pigments could be dangerous in even the most steady of hands, and, well, I glanced down at Shanae's fingers trembling on her bedsheets. Pressing forward, I gave her a cursory examination. Normally, I don't afford peons the luxury of my intellectual evaluation, but I was feeling generous. These symptoms are grave.
Do you know what's the matter?
Lyria's voice quivered with worry. I do. I've seen this exact disease once upon a time.
This exact
Heimel's
one.
eyes shot to me, propelled more by hope than surprise.
Truly? The local doctors have been useless. They just give her pain relievers and leave. Can you do something?
As much as I wanted to refuse, in that moment, Heimel's desperation reminded me too much of my own
wanted
sister.
to refuse.
I'm not a medical professional. Sure, I know a formula that might ease her symptoms, but it's not a permanent solution. Not to mention the biggest pain in the ass, tracking down all the components.
Please, you're all we've got.
Ugh, begging. Now, the deal was sealed. And it had nothing to do with Lyria, Vern, and Captain Goody Two-Shoes staring holes into the back of my head. Fine. The world's cutest genius alchemist Cagliostro is on the case. Consider yourself lucky. We left the studio and hurried back to the airship. In this skydome, I could think of only one environment that would produce the necessary reagents. Mount Nagelith. Perfect. The component should be somewhere around here.
We need reagents attuned to water. Let's sweep the area.
Roger that. My eyes are wide open. Nope, nothing to see this way.
F off.
Flashing boy!
You're a mean water spirit. Why don't you play nice? I'm a sled! All we have to do is collect this stuff, right?
Yep, but we'll need more than that. Ouroboros, sit down!
Never enough! 6, 7, 8, 9, 10! Back to the void!
Ah! An ambush!
Fantastic! Fantastic!
Arya!
Are those spirits protecting us? Either way, looks like we'll have to go through them.
No more ouchies!
Spot on.
This one's suspiciously large. Let's smash it and see what it's hiding. We have enough mineral components. Next up, we'll need crystallized Saiga tears.
Saiga? Those flapping eyeball creatures? I think I saw some further up ahead.
On enough for ya?
Give us! Just testing your
Too late,
thunder! One, two, three,
Oh, you're in for it.
Flashing boy!
Monster Teeth.
Bingo! Pardon our intrusion.
Janae's counting on us.
Ouroboros, attack already!
Watch this!
Can I get a blood sample? How's a leader sound?
Negatory.
I'll do it.
Do the trick?
Poor eye monsters!
Oh, yes! Bring your tears to us!
Now you're in the deep end. Go
Don't let him escape!
On enough for ya?
Six, seven, 8, 9, 10. Back to the boy.
Could've gone better.
They're gunners.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Oh, you weren't this close to gutting me with that smell. Whoop up.
You got it.
Slice and dice. Like six.
wins again!
So, did we get the tears?
Of course we did. I even had time to distill them.
Score a big one for Hagliostro!
We'll repay you someday.
The moment the potion reached Shanae's stomach, wariness melted from her frame. That medicine will only temporarily stop your symptoms. They'll be back if you don't treat the root of the problem.
Still, peace is priceless, no matter how brief.
Shanae was not the only one feeling more relaxed. With tensions eased, I decided it was time to explain Shanae's condition, Lycerian fever syndrome. It was an autoimmune disorder of the nervous system, caused by irregularities in the body's ley line structure. Common side effects included reduced function of the lower extremities and unrelenting fevers. Development occurred in the embryonic stage, a defense against the mother's own ley line system, interpreting the fetus as a foreign object. Of course, the prescribed painkillers and fever reducers had not been effective. They could not treat what was essentially a natural function of Shanae's body.
But the formula you made for us, it suppressed her symptoms, didn't it?
Sure, but suppression isn't treatment. And besides, there will be unfortunate side effects if she uses it over a long period of time. I'm just sorry I couldn't make you a true cure.
Please don't apologize. I feel like I've reclaimed a part of my life thanks to you.
Brave little thing. She had done nothing to earn her lot in life, but suffering claimed her all the same. Though the world was built upon fundamental truths, at times, I felt as if I understood nothing about it. It was a bright day when Vern, Lyria, the captain, and I went back to the studio. Shanae was staring out the window with a dazed smile. So the formula was still working. Good.
Crazy how you invited yourself to the studio to see my sister's paintings. And now you're her personal pharmacist. Serendipity's funny like that.
If you feel like repaying me, how about you finally cough up some art and show me around?
That's a fair price. Everything in the studio was painted by Shanae. Feel free to get close. Admire the details.
Previously, I had managed only a distracted glance at the studio's walls. But this time, I saw visual creativity exploding off them. I wasn't an expert on art, but even I felt the vibrant energy bounding from her drawings. Powerful, powerful pieces swirled around me like a hurricane. And one painting in particular, it was resonant. Sketches were littered about the floor, too. And even they were filled with vitality. How could such a feeble body muster such vivid work?
Oh yeah, about that pigment I bought when we met. Want to see it in action?
Taking the vial from a shelf, Heimel poured the pigment into a dish and mixed it with oil. A few swirls later, and the color had transformed in a way that was more chemistry than alchemy. Intriguing. Takes a specialty product to make that hue. Heimel smiled and handed the freshly prepared paint to Shanae, who was already mid-painting. A bead of sweat trailed down her brow as she swabbed the tint across her canvas.
I believe in Shanae's talent. Look at her. She's amazing. I just have to get the world to recognize it.
It's nice having a supportive sibling. I meant it.
I never know how to read your tone. But, well, her condition made me realize how precious our time together is.
Heimel, who clearly had never known abundance, smiled like the richest of merchants. Though Shanae had been left with a raw deal, it was clear her life wasn't without meaning. If only I could go back and tell my own sister, "You were my courage when I was weak. You were my light when I was in darkness. I have lived through eons, but you were my rock." I hoped these siblings, at least, would understand what they meant to one another. I even prayed a little.
Yeah.
Which was dumb, considering this Skydom still thinks primal beasts are gods. Huh. Guess I'm getting sentimental in my old age.
Wait, what? That line? Speaking out loud.
Lyria and Vern became a regular fixture at the studio. They said they wanted to be there when Shanae finished her latest piece. I felt much the same. Her pieces were charming, even while portraying the thin line between life and death. Rare to get drama like that outside of a novel. But my true reason for visiting was out of concern, not interest. She was battling an unpredictable disorder, so I wanted to be around should the worst come to pass.
Could you stick around for a few? I need to run out and buy a few things.
You dare waste my time with your foolish errands? Fine, but at least be quick about it. After Heimel left, Shanae waved me closer to her bed.
After all you've done, I don't want to sound ungrateful, but...
Her voice quivered. She was plainly troubled.
I don't know if I can say this. Wow. Okay, I want my brother to be free. I don't want to bind him any longer.
Tears began to gloss her eyes.
Without me holding him back, he could find someone and settle down. He has such
Could
a
he?
kind heart. He needs to share it. If I'm ruining his life, then I would rather not be in it at all. Please take...
I interrupted her. I don't condone this, and I doubt your brother would either. Oh boy. If there was ever a time to talk about my past, this was it. Look, I've been in your shoes. There was nothing the village doctors could do, and I was abandoned by damn near all the townsfolk. For the dying, hope was cheap. It was better to look inevitability in the face and maintain some of your dignity. But there was one person who stood beside me. My light. My rock. My sister. She was with me the entire time, keeping me warm in the shadow of death. And in turn, I gave her the comfort of company, not being alone in this world. I continued to detail memories of my sister, over 2,000 years old, hoping that Shanae would get the point. She hung on to every word.
What the?
When I concluded my story, to my disappointment, Shanae seemed to pick up the wrong message.
How did you get better?
Simple. The curse of genius. I developed an entire school of magic and abandoned my wretched body. I couldn't suppress a proud grin. She nodded along, not quite understanding. I couldn't blame her. Few people had the opportunity to learn the glory of alchemy, especially in these far-flung skydoms. Imagine your body is a jar and your soul is water. I created a fresher, cuter jar and poured my soul into it.
You can do that sort of thing?
Shanae cupped her mouth in surprise. Don't insult me. There's nothing I can't do. She grew silent as gears began to whir in her head. A few moments later, she stared at me with pleading eyes and spoke.
Could you do it for me?
Well, that was predictable. But I could relate to her predicament, and that alone made me want to help. If you really want to go through with this, I can make you a jug too. However, you should know. It wasn't going to be simple. A soul swap was messy on an experienced alchemist's psyche, much less a mundane girl's. Nor would I be around to perform maintenance down the line. It could very well be a fast track to the grave. And to inhabit an alchemized body was to stray from the natural order. She would forever be a false life form. Shanae had no knowledge of the arcane. She was struggling to grasp these factors. And what's worse, I didn't have the decades needed to explain the details. So I opted for a simpler route, and explained the side effects in more mortal terms. Even if your memories, knowledge, and personality make the jump, you will never feel the same. Your senses will feel foreign, your fine motor skills will be dulled. In short, goodbye, art. Take, for example, the sky. We each paint it in our own way. One may clumsily blob some white on a blue background, while others might choose a deeper hue or express the clouds with more definite contours. Art is a negotiation between the artist's mind, eye, and hand. And if 2/3 of that equation were to change, then the artist might as well be a different person altogether.
Wow, so wise.
Even I, genius that I am, took centuries to adapt to this process. Finally, it means you won't be human. You'll have to maintain your body like a machine, and you'll never have children. Is any of this sinking in?
But...
Shanae looked down at her hands, as if it were the first time she had ever seen them. It was never an easy decision. Even my sister begged me not to abandon my mortality, right until I made the hop into a new vessel.
Might never be the same again.
Do you need the strength of a king?
Cause I'm
The silence was deafening. Shanae was considering her past and what abandoning it would mean for her future. I observed her until I grew impatient. There's no reason you have to make up your mind now. As long as you found an answer before we sail out of the skydom, I can help you either way. Capiche?
Capiche?
I turned to leave, causing the bedridden girl to lunge after me.
Wait! I don't care about losing my art. If it will free Heimel to live his life, then my choice is clear.
Her tears were pierced by a genuine smile. She bore the pain of losing her creative soul and the joy of gaining a liberated brother. Even with my infinite understanding of the universe, I could not say which of those emotions was stronger. You sure you don't want to talk to him first? She shook her head. I felt a small pang of regret. I led her down this path because I, on some level, felt we were alike in our suffering. But the truth was, I had an, I won't say easier way out. The same solution applied to Shanae's problem would be far more complicated. If anything, I felt like I understood Heimel's position more. He would simply want what was best for his sister. Just like how my own sister had wanted what was best for me. After leaving the studio, I made a list of all the materials the procedure would require. It was going to be a pain in the homunculus to gather everything, so I enlisted the crew to help. I had my sights set on the Pillar of Vayoi. Due to the high concentration of arcane energy, the materials found there made for powerful alchemical reagents.
Wait till you see! Shanae's paintings are breathtaking, and I'm not just saying that. The world needs her talent.
Curse that proud face of yours, Heimel. Look what you've made me do.
This is a pretty good story. Damn, Percival.
Come on now. Adventure time. Cagliostro's coming for your cores, Mr. and Mrs. Spirit People.
And while I'm at it, I might pick up a few alchemical reagents in the process.
Let's go, gang.
Great. This won't help anyone. Useless trash. Great. This won't help anyone.
Yay! This'll do the trick. Look at all those spirits! What do you call a group of them anyway? A herd? A flock?
I call him target practice. Now come on. We need dark and light cores.
Hello? That's not him.
You just can't be beat.
Challenging a wolf.
Huh? Yeah, turn them against each other.
Meet your doom. Empty
Can you satisfy my soul? What do you think?
smell ya.
Hooray! Finders keepers! Sounds like we're making good time.
Useless trash.
ribbon tied. Spells ready. Components gathered.
That's it for all of our elemental components. Now, if only we can track down an effigy.
Use them keen eyes and learn you a thing or two, sonny.
Very
Watch him flounder. Keep light on those toes.
Caution before
Very well.
valor, as they say.
There, all better.
My hero.
As he would.
Ugh, Cagliostro knows everybody wants to cuddle up to her. You're icky.
Try not to blink.
Roses,
come to Thanks, Bob.
To the
Come on, touch.
Shall fine.
My head's there. I sense limitless power in you, Rosetta.
Leave a lady her privacy.
Roundabout. Follow me.
Fire and
Now, I need to blast you into alchemic dust.
I think I'm starting to feel sorry for the spirit.
War carries on.
Make a good
Never let a cat slip away. Women in the shadow.
On me! No more
You have
action!
me. Got it.
Did you see me? Did I do great or what?
Let loose the fire.
Time to crack.
Keep up.
Last one!
Excellent. Throw a few spirit guts in the old extractor, and we'll have prime crystals on our hands.
What now? Don't worry about it, Mr. Lizard. Wanna head back to town? It's true. Cuter is better.
When we returned to the studio, Heimel was a flustered whirlwind.
Schnee told me everything. Please, we refuse to let you change her body.
We were shocked to hear his refusal. Well, Vern and Lyria were. I had been expecting it. I'd like to hear the reason from her mouth. She's the one suffering, after all. What right do you have to speak for her? He grimaced.
Schnee has dreamed of being a successful artist ever since she was small. Even after the fever started, she's put her entire soul into her art. And finally...
In his fervent voice, you could hear how long he'd been supporting his sister, praying for her success. And now, after years of hard work, she'd made it. She had recently been invited to participate in an exclusive exhibit, a privilege apparently afforded to very few.
Finally, Schnee will be recognized for her talent. If we throw away her chance now, what will that mean for her future? Or her legacy?
I wasn't sure whether he was gritting his teeth or his fists tighter.
Schnee's been waiting so long for this! Why add this darkness to her life now?
Because you deserve to live your life too, Heimel.
Brother and sister stood opposed, on opposite sides of their future.
I've never thought of you as a burden. I supported you because I love you. It's a blessing to watch you create.
No one doubted his words. More than anything, he wanted Shanae's efforts to bloom into something beautiful. He wanted her future years to remain bright. If her dreams were so close to coming true, he reasoned, then why abandon everything now? He had a point. But he'd never been in Shanae's position before. I had. And I knew what needed to happen this time.
Oh? 70. Yeah, this guy fished in the legendary fish.
Now I just had to track me down a living, swimming myth. Couldn't be that many lakes harboring legends, right? Turns out there were few eyewitness accounts of such fish. Guess they didn't like flashing their scales as much as the fisher god. But I knew they had to exist. Why would he make up the challenge? So back to Sierra we went. She kindly asked the Fishermen's Guild and scholars to lend their assistance. They told us of a potential target. A beautiful fish, said to have the loveliest iridescent scales in the world. But it had never been caught, so it had yet to receive a proper name within academia. As if to tempt me more, we learned the locals called it the jewel fin. Catching it would be like grabbing a cloud, but the more I heard, the more I needed it. Surely it was a fool's errand. Too bad I was beside myself with determination. A being that existed somewhere between reality and rumor, I had to catch me some of that. Thus, in the coming days, whenever I found a semi-reliable lead, I would fly to the spot and cast my line. Went to salt lakes where a sip of the water would dry you to the bone. Wandered around underground streams where you couldn't see your hand in front of your face, and then every place in between. The captain, Lyria, and Fern accompanied me on my flights of fancy, but they grew tired of the pace. I wouldn't force them. I had planned to make the trip alone anyhow. All I wanted to do was find the unfindable, to catch the uncatchable. It was a good sign, honestly. They say anticipation exists right before accomplishment. Take a new sword technique. You only perfect it the day before a duel. A consequence of pre-battle nerves sending your noggin into overdrive. And this fish-off was a duel to the death for me and the fisher god. It would be the accomplishment of the century for any who lived by the rod. I was having the time of my life. But I knew I didn't have forever. We were in this skydom for a reason, and that mission had to take precedence. I decided my next search would be the last. It brought me to a labyrinthine jungle, which had claimed many adventurers in the past. I heard that somewhere inside was a spring turned monster den. One look at its bewitching twinkle would be enough to drive a man mad, and he'd throw himself into the pool to be swallowed. Relying on those exaggerated claims for guidance, I braved the forested depths to discover not a glorious spring, but a regular old bog. Ugh. Ain't no legendary fish ever lived in a place like that. But still, I cast my rod, and Vern and the captain waited with bated breath as they watched me bobber-a-bobbin. The swamp remained quiet. I was neither overcome with anticipation nor bored from inaction. I was part of the stillness, and my rod was my connection to it. I was one with nature and leap and liver fish a bite. I tugged the fish to the surface and began to tear up as the most perfect, lustrous twinkle broke the murky waters. Turns out none of the scholars' descriptions were quite right. But this was it. This was the jewel fin of legend. How's this for a catch? I proudly displayed the jewel fin before the fisher god. Its scales glistened in iridescent waves, unreal in their beauty. Its fins ethereal and transparent, waved as if kissed by a breeze. That old coot was flabbergasted.
Slap my behind! Where in the seven skies did you find this?
That was a delicious reaction. But of course, the fisher god was a fisherman of taste, and he had a rebuttal prepared. It was a large fish, obsidian in color, whose scales seemed to drink the light like a void. Its dorsal was strong and stiff, as if to mark it as a sea king.
Whoa! 2 legendary fish? Isn't that nuts?
Both of our catches fit the criteria of the competition. It was gonna be too hard to call. Guess we couldn't complain, though. Not every day we got to see such rare specimens. Still, something had to be done. So we turned to Lyria, Vern, and the captain.
I think both are amazing. I've never seen such pretty fish.
Can't we just say you're both incredible and be done with it?
Guess 2 legendary fish don't make a champion. Especially when we were both set on wearing the crown. Nope, it didn't sit right with me. Our rivalry pushed the craft of fishing forward, hadn't it? There was fire in our guts, and we deserved to name a proper victor.
Draw.
Lead the way.
What are you waiting for?
Okay, hold on. Okay. We ready.
Vern saw the determination plain on our faces.
You guys aren't gonna let this go, are you? Game's back on then.
Lyria pondered for a moment and made a suggestion.
How about whoever fishes up the most happiness? That could be interesting.
A genius suggestion. This island was under Avia's control, terrifying the population. It would be a saintly move to give them cheer with a side of full bellies. It was settled. We would go with Lyria's suggestion. He who could bring the most happiness to the island would take it. After a nod to one another, the Fisher God and I set out to do some real fishing. Move it or lose it, folks. Hope we come across a good fishing spot.
In this blizzard, how are you gonna even see your rod?
Ancient technique.
Oh, I thought, what? Who broke that? Oh, they're just breaking ice? I'm looking for me to do that.
Hey, why don't you cast from the bridge? You'll probably catch something.
Not a bad idea. Let's give it a whirl. My line ain't reaching from here anyway. Come on, let's move. There's a path somewhere around here that goes down.
But what? It sounded like he said he was gonna fish from here. Gotta get
I
me?
can hear running water. You think this here hole has a river at the bottom?
So much recovery on the jump attack.
Read like a book. We're just looking to fish. What if you want to be a sushi platter? Step right up. Can't get back body.
Team?
Let's do this.
Heads up!
Cut them down.
I'm trying to throw.
Barely keep an eye on you.
You did well. Remind me to learn you the sword,
Nice
eh?
button control.
Reel him in. You froze him good.
Bet it all on the fire! We got the picture! Look alive!
Stop right there.
Like a well-oiled machine!
Played
I
like a
owe
whip.
you much.
Schooled like
Bet it all on the bullets!
Can fish even live in weather this cold?
The colder the weather, the fatter the fish. Make some good barbecue.
Ooh, that's neat. You learn something cool every day.
Get the barbecue. Barbecue chicken.
Leaving. Milk you later.
Help me out!
Understood.
Roger.
Light
Did the
fast
damn
enough.
thing, didn't we?
I'll always be by your side.
Now you're in the deep end. Go time.
Into the fray.
No problem!
Like you got it.
How much ammo do you have left?
Plenty.
Take him!
Follow it.
Got eyes on him!
Ready.
Stay alert, folks!
Gotcha.
Understood.
Ooh, that spot looks swell. This place is perfect. Let's get started.
Holy crap! Looks like the monsters caught our scent.
Curse their timing. I'll clean them up right quick. Just testing you.
They're open. Well done.
I bet you say that.
Yeah, we did that. This school swims together.
It's over.
Coming right out.
Nice teamwork.
You're easy to follow.
Watch and learn. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cut them down.
Good job, Sinky.
You're more alike than I'd care to admit.
How's about we end it? Want to see something? Try not to blink.
Superb.
Hey.
You're wide open. You're on my mark. Oh, yeah.
That takes care of that.
I wouldn't be so sure. Looks like we got a big fella on our hands next.
For real? We don't have time for this.
Yep. And judging by his bad attitude, I don't think it's gonna let us leave without a fight.
Bro, what?
It's right there!
Now, this here's a sight for sore eyes. Sorry, bub, but you're between us and our fishing spot.
Shield.
Smell you later. Are you kind of you? It's curtain for you. Enough. The shadow creeps, and none shall escape the cover of a shroud. Dust to dust.
Not one step forward.
Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Catalina.
I'm on it.
6, 7, 8.
Back up. Loud and clear.
Here's it. It's over. Shine as one. Gale burst. Well, let's overboard.
Do it again.
Come on. Understood.
I'll take the flight.
Later.
Looking good. All right. Sock it to him.
It's curtain for you. Reel him in. And it's taken all that damage. But that hasn't slowed it down a bit. Better try to finish it off before we get it done.
That was big deal.
Light bends in a flash. No eye can track me.
What's that?
Hello?
Can't be bothered to run. Oh, my hip is howling.
Janelle. It's over. Well done.
For you.
I can't see my sun game.
It's not over yet.
My
Keep
max now?
focused.
Got it.
I around every corner. My favorite part.
Get them, Aries.
It's curtain for you. Smell you later.
Gotta break it out of that ice chest.
Just testing your lad. Go time. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You're in for it. Nice.
Batter up.
My blade.
Skadoosh.
That was a good. Got my chest and arm all worked up. Oh, I hope we didn't scare off the fish. Ah. Not so bad, was it?
Wow.
Results day had arrived. Residents of Seed Hollow were gathering, waiting to see what bounty we could share.
Feast your eyes. I have caught the elusive brave scale.
The Fisher God took to the podium. The largest fish in this skydom strung up behind him. The crowd was wowed by the sheer scale of the thing, and I was no exception. Should have known he'd come out with rod blazing. But I, on the other fin, took a different approach. Behold! All these humble shellmen who make their home in these very rivers. I sure wasn't gonna win through size, but maybe superior numbers would do the trick. Next, the Fisher God and I began to fillet our catches, sharing
Fillet o
sushi,
fish.
soup, and ceviche of all sorts with the crowd.
Ceviche.
The Brave Beam is delicious. And how do you beat that impact?
The shellman is just as good. It's so fresh and it's been served at the optimal temperature. Absolutely perfect.
Everywhere we looked, there were people enjoying our efforts. Even the crew were getting their fill while they could. But since it was a competition, next up was evaluations. Members of the crowd were to vote on whose catch made them feel better, both in flavor and in general happiness. One after the other, the votes piled up for the Fisher God. It was starting to look hopeless. But there was a special reason I chose to serve the shellman. I wasn't panicking just yet.
Shall we call it there, friend?
I gotta hand it to you, Fisher God. You serve some delicious fish. But let's see how it plays out. While I was talking, a cute little scamp, snot running down his nose and everything, cast a vote for me.
You didn't want to vote for the big fish, sweetie?
It was too big and scary. I like the small fishies.
The Fisher God's breath caught for a moment, and I knew he understood my plan.
Huh? What's going on, little mama?
Good day.
I said good day, sir.
Wow, these vegetables are very unique. Yes, unique.
I brought Vern and Lyria with me in hopes of lifting Irene's spirits.
How do you make a tomato look like a shriveled bone? That's talent, I guess.
Vern was, for better or worse, brutally honest. Now, who did that remind me of?
Vern, don't be rude.
It's fine, Lyria. He's not wrong.
Though she had every right to
Not
be
wrong.
offended, Irene took the comment in stride. Our two most carefree members of the crew seemed to be rubbing off on her. Guess it was the right call to bring them. I'm not the best at brightening the mood.
So Vasaraga told us about your plants. You want them to grow big and healthy, but they keep withering, right?
Yes.
After a moment of silence, Lyria gave Irene a sympathetic smile, encouraging the girl to divulge her feelings. She began to perk up. Guess Zeta was right. It really is easier to share your worries with someone closer to your age.
Taking care of those little ones is my purpose in life.
She went on to recount how she had always been a loner. From a young age, her only friends were the plants she cared for. Recently, she had discovered that she could hear her plants talk, though she had no idea how or why.
But now, it's like my precious friends are fading away, one by one. I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Not long after she had gained the ability to communicate with her cherished plants, they suddenly began to wither and die one after another. She could hear them wail in agony as they reached their end. It was no surprise that she soon reached her breaking point.
A few are still alive, but I'm sure they'll join the others in no time. If this is all that's waiting for me in the future, then I would rather not live to see it.
Watching the lives of your loved ones slip out of your fingers, I could relate to that. What was she supposed to do? Distance herself from her reason for living? Wasn't that as good as dying? I eyed the black mist. Look, there's gotta be a way to fix things.
What? But I've tried everything.
Squeezing her bandaged wrist, Irene looked up at me in confusion. I did my best to reassure her without betraying the worry gnawing at my mind.
Irene! Good night, Irene. Oh, because so she could get the plants dying.
What
Sure,
happened
she can
here?
hear the plants.
I had stopped by Irene's garden after finishing our quest, only to find every single leaf and stem had turned black and rotted. It felt unnatural, like something had completely sucked the life from what should have been a thriving patch of greenery. Filled with dread, I rushed inside the house, but Irene was nowhere in sight. It was then that I noticed a letter on the floor.
To the blasphemer who betrayed Avia, you should know that Lady Lilith wished to bathe the skies in destruction. Have you not yet realized that clinging to life is folly? That living is a sacrilege to all we preach? You have two choices before you. Watch as that forbidden implement spreads darkness to all those innocent folk living around you, or return to Avia and repent.
So Irene had ties to the Church of Avia, and they'd fitted her with some sort of cruel device. Reminded me of Lyria and the Mind Sealer. If they had hurt Irene like they hurt Lyria... Damn. Thought I'd finally dealt with this pain. But there I was, failing to protect yet another innocent life. Brooding on it for too long wasn't going to bring Irene back, so I left the house and scoured the town. Avia always had a flair for drama, but I detected no commotion in town. Which means, bastards snuck away in a ship. Knowing there were precious few minutes to trail them, I rushed to the port.
This is a pet-friendly mission.
It is an honor.
I will lead us to triumph.
The captain, who saw me rushing to the port, joined me in the chase. Sierra Carte, who was always in the right place at the right time, heard a rumor about an Aviath battleship sighting. We took after them immediately, driving the Grand Cipher as hard as we could to close the distance. Found you.
Goo goo got
After
you.
we crested a cloud bank, their ship came into view. In a contest of speed, a mere battleship was no match for the Grand Cipher. We soon pulled alongside our quarry and boarded their vessel.
I assume you're the draft that's been stalking our new shaman?
Let Irene go.
Stalking.
I'm afraid that's out of the question.
The tension in the air grew palpable.
That device she wears incinerates life. For now, the dark flame only affects plants. But with a little more time, the shaman will consume all life in Zega Grande. Lady Lilith will have her salvation, one way or another.
What?
You call that salvation? Maybe these fools didn't understand Lilith's true goals.
Yes.
Or maybe they were just bending the truth to satisfy their own cruel desires.
Yes.
Regardless, they were hazards that needed to be taken care of.
She shows remarkable compatibility with the Dark Flame. We will use her to fulfill Lady Lilith's wishes once and for all.
At the expense of Irene and this skydom, not on my watch. It's time someone put your schemes to rest. Grinoth, did you hear that? We've got work to do. Lend me your strength. Take them, Grinoth.
I offer my life for Lady Lilith!
These guys never know when to quit.
Call for reinforcements.
It's over!
We stop them here!
Fantastic.
There's no end to them!
Rackham, can you pull up alongside them? We need to board and find Irene.
Guards! No kid is getting kidnapped on my watch.
True terror!
Let's play! Thanks for the help.
Forward! Almost there!
How's this?
That was a fearsome blow. Did you say something?
Follow me.
Blasphemous.
Rackham, do it!
I'm on it already. Come on, Grand Cypher. Hang in there.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Damn it. Did we make it?
Thanks for the ride. I'll handle the rest. Let Irene go.
The shaman shall be our salvation. Defend her to the end!
Mighty one. Let us forward.
Superb! Push forward!
Right!
Even the dead act with valor.
That's because we still have something to fight for. Now's our chance!
Let's end it.
Into the fray!
Don't let your guard down.
Who do you think you're commanding? Of course.
Jam doesn't last long enough.
Beat them back.
After you! Destroy them!
We can't rest easy just yet.
Some big guys!
Careful. More are coming.
It's too late to beg for mercy now, outsiders!
Our salvation will be as Lady Lilith foretold.
You even know what Irene wishes for? The end is nigh. What?
The shaman has a duty to embody Lady Lilith's teachings.
Guess we gotta knock some sense into them the hard way.
Attack in one fell swoop.
Understood!
I'm so sorry, Lady Lilith. Accursed outsiders!
Asaraga, did you come for me?
You're safe now. Let's get you home.
Let's end this!
Oh, he's in.
By the time we carried Irene back to the Grand Cipher, half of her body was shrouded in the dark mist. A sinister-looking device was clamped around her wrist, where the bandage had slipped off.
I don't advise using force to break it. That would put Lyria's life in danger.
I remembered what Roland said back on Mount Nagilith. Removing one of these implements by force could cost Irene her life, but there was no time to search for another method.
Asaraga, I'm sorry. I've caused you trouble again.
Irene weakly apologized, barely conscious.
Weakly.
It's okay. You can break the bracelet. My life is in your hands.
I get the choice?
As long as you're alive, we can rebuild. We promised, didn't we? Our lives are in your hands.
I clenched Grinoth tighter. Irene had already accepted her end, but I swore to protect them. I swore to protect them all. With my heartbeat thundering in my ears, I focused my entire being on the device. Grinoth and I became one as I swung down. We cut through the dark mist, and a burst of blinding light swallowed everything.
Good day.
Sleep of faith. Here we go.
Mother said she would bring us salvation. It was a glorious message, and for that she gained a devoted following. As for me, how could I doubt the woman who pulled me from the fiery wreck, who raised me as her own? I thought that together we would save the Sky Realm, even if it meant cutting down any who opposed us. But over time, the sacrifices began to mount. I struggled. My reason battled with my heart, which battled with my conscience. Mother was pure and righteous, but to sacrifice the entire Sky Realm... No. She just lost her way for a bit. She'd wake up one day and see she had strayed. As her child, as her defender, I wanted to believe that she'd change for me. Even at the very end, when I was forced to turn my sword on her, I was praying for an alternative. Any alternative. But she would not repent. And I was confronted with the full force of the atrocities I'd committed in Avia's name. But there was one light left to guide me.
Just follow your heart. It might lead you to scary places, but at least you'll know you're being true to yourself.
Thank you, Lyria. If you hadn't reminded me of my own strength, I'd still be in the dark following Lilith. I swear to you that I will fix even more than I destroyed. And one day, perhaps I will be worthy of your forgiveness. "15 years ago, Dali fell prey to a violent catastrophe. One that still lives etched in my mind. There was an explosion. Immense and sudden. My home went up in flames, and with it the only life I had ever known. People were fleeing and dying in all directions. The air was filled with screams. The smell of burning. Then, I heard it. The soul-piercing roar of a dragon. My short life should have come to an end that day. Except...
Shh. It's okay. Let me be the one to save you.
Salvation came in the form of a kind woman. Her name was Lilith, prophet of the pilgrims of Avia. From that day forth, she was both my mother.
Oh, he's a survivor from Dali.
I worshipped her. And the thing about devotion is...
I don't remember.
It makes you blind. Mother had followers in the hundreds, thousands, and my simple child's mind thought, well, if this many people have faith in her, she has to be good, right? I wanted
Surely?
desperately to be of use to her. So I trained to be the perfect guardian.
Young Id, one day you shall be as mighty as I.
General Galanza taught me how to fight.
You wouldn't want the other pilgrims saying you're riding your mother's coattails, would you? Then you must prove yourself.
General Magliel taught me why we fight. Her training was harsh, but that's how I acquired the makings of a general. All effort, no nepotism. Finally, I had some value to Mother. Her sharpest sword. I never felt happier or more accomplished. I thought we were going to save the Sky Realm. The naivete of it all.
Naivete.
After we captured the Shaman of Salvation for Lilith's cause, I was assigned to be the girl's keeper. That made me enemy #1 to the Grand Cypher's crew. Every time I took Lyria to a primal beast altar, they'd be there, and we'd fight. I mean, there was a time or two we had to cooperate to prevent widespread calamity. That's beside the point. They were standing in the way of Lilith's mission, opening a path to the Promised Land to Astalucia, and bringing salvation to all Sky Dwellers. Salvation. That's a powerful word in a messed up world like ours. I wonder everyone got roped in by her lies. Lilith was no more than an astral desperate to return to her home dimension, and she would have sacrificed the whole Sky Realm to do it. I tried to reason with her. Might as well have asked an avalanche to change course. So I turned to prayer. But what are hopes and belief without action? So left with no other choice, I joined the crew of the Grand Cypher to dispatch my own mother. But I never could have foreseen what would happen next. Lilith did something, and freed a monster from within me. The dragon I'd seen the day Dolly burned, with wings so vast they overshadowed all of Sega Grande. Bahamut Versa. But then I learned, Bahamut didn't cause the Dolly calamity. It had come to stop it. It was Lilith who killed my family and razed my home. She'd only let me live for one reason. She needed a vessel to seal the dragon in, and I was conveniently nearby. She'd raised me to win my loyalty and protect herself from the god of destruction now living inside me.
Okay.
But when I stopped being of use to her, she abandoned me and let me turn into Bahamut. I don't know how to describe the feeling of flesh melting into scales, a fire filling your stomach. All human warmth, human blood seemed to rush from my veins, and it was replaced by an overwhelming urge to destroy. It was like being swept away in a
Bahamut versus.
Any attempt to fight it only made the suffering worse. I was so tempted to give in. But the crew wouldn't let me. Apparently, the captain was sure I wouldn't lose my soul battle with Bahamut. So to help me along, they decided to beat on the dragon from the outside until he coughed me up. Yeah, not the most elaborate plan. But it worked. The whole time they were fighting, they called my name, and the sound of their voices brought me back. I split myself from Bahamut, then joined the crew to take it down. We had our losses, though. Bahamut hit me and the captain with a blow that sent us hurtling into another dimension. A man named Roland dove in to save us, sacrificing himself along the way. And that's how we came back to Folca without him. Roland used to be the local Mr. Fix-It, by the way. And I took up that mantle. I owed him that much. And I figured it'd be a first step in making amends.
I fix it. To an alternate dimension. The hell is Bahamut Versa? Make it make sense.
And that's where this new chapter in my life begins. Me, as the new Mr. Fix-It. After clearing up some requests, I thought I'd earn some, I don't know, respect, honor, from the Crew Alliance Rafale. But it seems you can't buy forgiveness so easily.
Ahem. So I believe we're all aware of Avia's assault on Seed Hollow.
She looked straight at me as she spoke. The actions of the pilgrims, myself included, had left a number of locals without homes. There was a plan to resettle volunteers in Tempil. Give them a fresh start.
They're going to be out in the open, moving, building. This includes children and the elderly. Your job would be to protect the settlers until their homes are up. Trustworthy Skyfarers only.
Hey, don't push yourself. You can sit this one out, you know.
Rackham lay a hand on my shoulder.
Rackham,
I shook my head at him. We take it. This is right. I couldn't stay stuck in the past forever. I needed to move on. I needed to help those I hurt move on. It wasn't an easy choice, though. Our patron, the family who was bankrolling this mission, didn't know I'd worked for Avia. And I didn't know if I had the guts to tell them. Yeah, I know. How am I supposed to atone for crimes I'm too scared to admit? Still, one step at a time. Too much of a coward to take responsibility? Fine. I could at least start by repairing some of the damage I'd done. I'd make sure the settlers built in peace. And if one of them happened to find out about my past, then that would be that. I'd accept whatever punishment they saw fit to give me.
Sure.
It didn't matter where I hid or how far I ran. Retribution would find me eventually.
It in the crew.
Where are we going?
My hour has come.
Have I even seen his skills? He just used whatever the base was.
The ride to Tempil was uneventful. The proposed relocation site was set near an old storehouse by the river. There was water here, and the building could be repurposed for homes. The migrants dragged their feet and often looked back towards Seed Hollow. Most had been born and raised there. We'd been hired as bodyguards, but for the time being at least, All was quiet. Just the sound of wind and running water. Patrols didn't take long, and only 1 or 2 people had to go at a time. The rest of us found other ways to keep busy. Carrying supplies, repairing the storehouse, prepping materials, cooking. Whatever needed doing, we did it. While the adults were building the new body of the village, the children, they were forming the new heart of it. It's amazing how kids can find happiness in just about anything. The world's fresh and new to them. Down by the river, they discovered unfamiliar plants and bugs with funny shapes. In the old storehouse, they looked for hidden treasure and lost stories. Sure, sometimes they got in the way of work and were scolded, but you could tell the adults appreciated having the kids around. It gave them hope. Io and Lyria were their self-appointed babysitters. They called it serious work, but it looked like fun and games to me. Those kids didn't have a care in the world. Well, all except one of them.
Oh?
There was a girl who would always glance my way. Pretty much from day 1 of this job.
Tim.
I say girl, but she was a Harvin, so her age was hard to pinpoint.
Okay.
But she played with the kids more than she worked, so I assumed. Anyways, turned out she was a teenager.
What is this?
That would explain the looks she gave me. I don't think any kid could have been filled with such fear, such anger, such hate. Didn't take much to guess why she had a grudge against me. But she made sure I knew. It happened one day when I was on my way to the storehouse to stack some freight. She was in my path, and since I had a load of boxes in my arms, I almost bowled her over.
Don't come closer!
Her voice was loud
Christina?
and shrill. I won't hurt you. I promise.
Yeah, right. Everyone else might have forgotten you, but I haven't. We're here because of you.
Her name was Shiralu, 14 years old. Parents volunteered to come on this resettlement mission after they had lost their livelihoods back in Seed Hollow.
Bruh.
She had
Seed
reason
Hollow's
to
fine.
hate me. During this whole exchange, I felt strangely relieved. No more waiting in the shadows, trying to work up the courage to atone. Atonement had come for me.
Why are you
Hunted
here? To
by-
take our new homes?
Never.
Seriously?
I only wished I were better with words. To convey even a fraction of the guilt I felt. To give her even the slightest comfort. Not a day goes by where I don't regret what I've done. I wanted to tell her I was ready to repent, but my voice came out flat, insincere.
I don't believe that for a second! You're a liar! A liar and...
But she was cut off by warning bells. I raced back to the settlement center, where I found Rackham.
Goblin sighting! Get everyone inside the gates, pronto!
His voice rose up over the cacophony.
An attack! But my father just left for the storehouse!
Remain here. I'll find him. I left without waiting for a response.
Come on, just like we practiced. Into the gates!
We'll handle the goblins.
Everyone's safe. Should be. Why we're here, isn't it? Now come on, we got
Why is the
goblin
whole
mail
building
here.
still on fire?
I will be your shining light. Seal their fists.
By my blade.
Well done.
There's more here.
They're trying the pincer maneuver. Vern, you watch over the settlers.
Got it! Leave it to me!
It's over!
Free flesh.
Watch and learn. Let loose the fire of war.
The fire.
Done playing.
Back to the boy!
There's so many. Where'd they all come from?
Heard this place used to be Monster Central. Guess these are the stragglers.
Exterminate all monsters. You want to kill them all. Their treasure?
Bad news, guys! Some girl named Shiraloo has gone missing! No! What if she...
Don't assume anything, Leah. First, we secure the area, then we start a search.
Always assume.
I see through you!
There is no light.
Isn't that the Harvey?
Do you know something?
Great, we'll get the search party started. Right after these messages. Stay down.
Hey! I heard Shiraloo's near the windmill!
Yeah, that sounds about right. She was worried about her dad.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's go!
Well, there might be loot over here. No?
Heads up! There's another goblin band over here!
What? Shirolu, where did you go?
Focus on the fight at hand. Here they come.
Please be okay.
Oh, kid!
No, you're
Guiding the light.
You're tricky. Take this.
There is no light.
Is someone there? Shiraloo!
Don't worry, we're here to help. Do you think you can stay hidden for a bit?
Yeah, I can do that. Thank you.
There's more. Out of my way.
Wait, I recognize that voice. Watch out for the shooter!
No light attracting. Light fades.
Never enough.
Testing your lad.
Rain on the Listen! Right when it
To victory!
Destroy them.
Don't
Let's see which of our spirits burns the brighter.
Challenge accepted.
I believe in you.
Not over yet. Good.
Breaking legs.
Looks
Why
like
didn't
we're
I
all
mourn?
clear. You can come out now, Shiraloo.
It was a close call, but we managed to find Shiraloo in time.
Everything's going to be okay now. Thank you.
Lyria ran over to the girl. I don't think Shiraloo was injured, but her face was pale, and her lips were tight. It had to have been me. The reason she looked so pained. If I hadn't forced her from her home, she wouldn't have almost lost her life. I turned and walked a few steps. I'll secure the way back. Bring her when she feels better.
Wait, Id.
Shiraloo needed good people around her. What did I ever bring but suffering?
Hello.
The day after the goblin attack, I had an unlikely visitor. Shiralu.
You didn't have to save me, but thank you.
That took me completely off guard. I searched wildly in my mind for a response, but all that came out was, I was just trying to do the right thing.
Look, Avia almost destroyed Seed Hollow, and I won't ever forgive you for that. Do you know how many people were hurt?
I'm sorry. Like I said, words, not my strong point. Is there any way I can make amends? I will do anything. She looked at me for a moment, her lips working, searching for an answer. Her eyes slowly welled up with tears.
Can you bring back the dead? I didn't think so.
If I could trade my life for even one I'd taken, I'd have done it in a heartbeat. But she was right. Those people were gone, and never coming back.
We can't talk about this now. Maybe I shouldn't have come. Have a good... goodbye.
She turned and walked away. Her voice shook the entire time we were talking. With anger, I guessed. And grief. But she'd still forced herself to thank me. It hit me then how kind she was. If Avia had never existed, she might have never known the corrosive influence of hate. Our crimes went beyond the people we killed. Even those that survived, they now had to live with the trauma and sleepless nights. It was all so heavy. I was beginning to see that I'd never be able to atone. Not if I had 100,000 years and all the power in the skies.
Bring them back alive!
We now knew the settlement was a prime target for goblins. We'd cleared out a band of them, but there would always be more. We decided to tighten our defenses. More frequent patrols with bigger teams. I was quick to volunteer for the first shift. Lyria, Vern, and the captain came along.
Hey, we noticed things are kind of tense between you and Shiralu. Do you want to talk about it?
Lyria kept pace beside me, peering up into my face. What's there to say? My past was for me to solve. I didn't need to make the crew part of my guilt.
She knew, didn't she, that you were once part of Avia?
All right, fine. Who was I kidding? No one kept secrets with these three around. Someone was going to find out eventually. Just don't worry about it. But Vern and Lyria pushed back.
We're buds now, right? Your problems are my problems.
Exactly. We can talk to Shiralu together. This is your chance to make things right.
You know, sometimes when you feel lost in a hostile world, that's all it takes to put things into perspective. A few kind words. Okay. But there's no half-assing it. Whatever Shiralu asks, we give it to her. Do you understand? I was offered no answer, but their eyes told me enough. Sins are only burned away through atonement. This was the way things had to be. We walked for a while in silence, until finally the captain nodded. And I was told the crew would do what was right. Days passed, and the demeanor of the settlers when they were around me began to change. Bright eyes turned into cold stares. Open hands clenched into fists, smiles morphed into sneers. They had begun avoiding me, too. It was easy enough to guess why. On an afternoon, buried under gray clouds, the rest of the crew gathered around me in a show of solidarity. I'd recommend keeping your distance. I'm a known criminal now. I stared ahead of me into empty space. Maybe Shiralu had told the others about me. Maybe she hadn't. What did it matter? The truth was bound to come out eventually. This was justice.
But Id, you didn't hurt anyone because you wanted to. You were being controlled.
The captain knelt beside me and pointed out excuses I'd rehearsed in my mind a million times before. And as a child, I couldn't have known the difference between right and wrong. That as an adult, I was blinded by my love for Lilith. That in choosing to turn against my family for the sake of the skies, I had sacrificed the most. Yeah, I had misguided intentions. So what? If that were a real defense, we wouldn't have any villains, would we? I deserve to be judged for my actions, and my actions alone. They all fell silent.
Misguided intentions. I'm not a villain, I just have... Wait, no. You're not a villain. Shirolu is spreading rumors? I'm gonna talk to her. Let me talk to you.
Ready.
Shiralu found me during one of my patrols. She stood in front of me, fidgeting with the cloth of her skirt.
I'm sorry. I only told one person and then somehow everyone found out.
With all due respect, save your apologies. Looking back, I realize I should have chosen my words more carefully. Something like, you don't have to apologize. All you told them was the truth. You know, something a person with a heart would have said.
No, you don't get it!
Yeah, she had a right to be upset. Only I could have sounded so accusing when what I really meant to say was, it wasn't your fault.
Just tell me one thing. Did the church really brainwash you? And did you really have to fight your own mother?
What? Where do you hear about that?
Your friend told me. The captain.
Of course. The captain promised me the crew would do what was right. Guess that meant giving my whole backstory to Shiralu.
Anyways, it doesn't matter where I heard it. What matters is whether it's true or not. So...
Why did she need to know? Would my good intentions bring back the dead? Shiralu knew the answer to that as well as I did. My past is no excuse.
So it is true. You're a victim. Just like us.
No. I was the perpetrator. I had to be the perpetrator. How else could I explain the guilt that sat on my chest? It made it hard to breathe. But before I could say any of this, I was interrupted by the shrill ringing of warning bells. What's going on? Just as before, Rackham was making rounds to explain the situation.
It looks bad. Our supply runners are under goblin attack.
Supply routes were the lifeline of any settlement. They needed to be cleared immediately. I'll head out now. Shiralu, find your family and get to safety.
Okay, I won't leave the village this time.
Good. I met up with the others, and we left for battle.
Well, thank goodness you're here! If we lose these supplies, we lose the village! You have to help us!
No problemo. Goblin Hunter's my middle name.
Less talking, more fighting!
Never enough!
Follow me, if you insist. Keep your wits about you.
Ready, Fritz?
Of course. Full bloom. Refreshing. After me.
Fine.
I'll go. Stay strong for me. Quite right.
Hey, bud. I don't think there's any butt left to kick around here.
You on about?
Huh? Reinforcements. To think they still had hordes in reserve.
This looks bad! More goblins are headed for the village!
What? Now? We can't abandon the supplies.
I'll go back. Can you handle things here?
Sure can. You just worry about getting to the village in time, little boy.
All right, Ed, let's roll!
What? Bruh.
Come on, bud. We're almost there.
Okay.
Interesting. The first mission
What
where something like this is
They've
happening.
overrun the place!
There's less than I thought. Perfect.
Where are those Skyfarers? I'm so scared.
Someone's here. It's Id.
Stay inside. Don't come out until I say so.
You're planning to fight them alone? But you can't win! You've never seen Id when he's serious. He'll be fine.
What's going to happen to us?
And the more
Again. Watch you now.
there's a lot of stuff here.
I know that Avi robbed us of our old homes. But right now, it's fighting to protect our new ones.
What the hell? 8 potions?
Back off. Break it, leg.
All I wanted was to protect people. I know I've made mistakes in the past, but I have changed. And I'll prove it.
He's facing all those monsters. For us.
But if it weren't for him, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Who said that? Oh, man. I'm ready.
I see through you. It's over.
Still more of them?
Oh, crap! Now I'm getting worried!
Over. I can do this.
Break it, leg.
More goblins are coming!
I need more.
Don't give in, Ed!
Why are you cheering him on?
Listen to me. It might have done some terrible things in the past, but look at the person who's out there right now. He's risking everything to save us. Is that what a villain does?
You're right. I'll never forgive the Church of Avi. Ed's no longer one of them.
He helped build this village, and now he's protecting it. That means he's become one of us.
I believe in Ed. He's our last hope.
Please, Ed. Pull through. We're counting on you.
To protect them.
Here it comes. I'll destroy you. Trial. Halt. I don't show mercy.
is this sword? Might as well juice right now.
You can do it, Ed!
We're all cheering for you, Ed! Show those mobsters who's boss! Die!
Feeling lucky.
Take this! Eat this!
That thing is huge!
Try to look.
Please win this!
Right. All I need is 90 seconds!
Oh yeah?
You're finished! Eat this!
Understood.
You're finished! Eat this!
I don't show mercy.
You're finished!
Well done. Again.
Take much more!
I can't.
Pour it out now!
Not on my watch. Try to run.
Don't mind me! Spare them no quarter! Eat this!
Let's go.
I still can't believe he's out there. All alone.
Come on, Ed! You got this!
Me too.
You're finished!
I didn't know how to morb.
Fair enough. My sword cut clean through the last goblin. It's over. As I pulled my blade clear of its flesh, it trailed an arc of blood through the air. I felt the settlers behind me, watching, judging. You see, I thought, this is the kind of monster I am.
I can't believe it! You did it, Ed! You really did it!
Shirlow broke the silence with the cheer. For me, I had to say something. The goblins are gone. All at once, the migrants rushed me. Hands took hold of me and lifted me into the air.
Those were fearsome odds, but you pulled through!
You saved us. Thank you, Ed.
These people knew I had destroyed their homes. So why were they rallying to me?
Sorry I'm late. What'd I miss?
The crew was now filing back into the village. They gazed up at me open-mouthed. I'm sure I looked back at them with pretty much the same expression.
Oh, nothing. Just Ed single-handedly annihilating a goblin army.
The settlers finally put me down and began telling exaggerated accounts of the battle. I tried to take the opportunity to slink off and find conversation with something more my level. Maybe a tree or something.
Hey, just where do you think you're sneaking? Is our resident bad boy feeling shy?
I shot Rackham my nastiest look, but only because he had guessed the truth.
You should be proud, Ed! You saved everyone here!
Come on, Lyria. It had to be obvious that I wanted to be left to myself. Truth was, I didn't think I deserved all this praise. So I saved a small settlement. Great. Guess we'd forgotten I've also raised entire cities. The captain strolled up to me and after elbowing me in the ribs, asked, "How was it to fight for the good guys?" That, I had an easy answer to. "Not bad," I said. "Not bad at all."
Not bad at all.
Hello.
That's it. And now all the dates are done. Level... Oh no, you just need level 6? Bro, what? That was 70.
Please come again.
That's just like a couple of...
Good
Yeah,
have a
I'll
good
probably
day.
do that tonight. I'll do some quests.
Need something? This one?
Oh, the... Oh, we got some more. Got some more. Maybe S++ some of these. Yeah, I have to start doing this. I think I should try to do this online.
Well then, so long.
Let me see. Quest.
For a limited time only, I'm slashing all my prices.
Ready for some action? Daddies ain't got nothing on you. Ready for
Oh.
some action? Mission complete.
Come on! Tell me when you're hiding.
Grand opening, grand closing. This.
Come to view the request? Have a nice day.
7.
Oh no.
No questing? Okay then. I will... Oh, there's one other thing I want. Oh, I wanted to... Grand Cipher. Oh? Bad idea.
How do you do?
What?
Huh?
Dialogues. Bring me the seed hollow.
Buy from me and you'll agree. This bread is the bee's knees.
Bring me to this.
So then?
Yeah. that's it for now.